Yo, what's up guys, it's Blaze Monkey, your boy is back for another video. We're back, we're back. We're going to be doing the second part to the what if Goten was in the future. Been a while since I've touched on it, it's been about 3 weeks. We've had 2 more new what ifs, and if you'd like to see more what ifs on this channel, leave a like. But before we get into all that, let's quickly have a recap of the last part. In case you didn't watch it, make sure you go watch it. Or if you have watched it, it's been a while, I'll recap, what happened. So, in this what if, Goten was born before Goku died of the heart virus. Yes, the heart virus that Goku died from. Instead, in this version, Goku, his son, was born. His second son, Goten, was born in the future. Now, he had a very similar upbringing to Trunks, with Gohan and being more around him. And he essentially, had a stronger bond with his brother. And, he had more of a rivalry with Trunks. And they both trained under Gohan, who also had Super Saiyan. And then, what happened after that was one day Gohan lost his arm, still like in the original, and it still happens everything as the original. Now, right before Gohan goes and fights the androids alone, he knocks out Trunks, but he doesn't knock out Goten. Goten is able to dodge it, knowing his brother better than what Trunks did, and figuring out what his brother wanted to do. Trunks and Goten would then get into an argument so bad that Goten went Super Saiyan, because he thought he wasn't good enough. Goten would then charge over, fighting the androids, barely surviving, with Gohan also going, barely surviving. So this time Gohan didn't die. Trunks would then wake up and find blood everywhere. He would find a lot of the destroyed clothes, because Goten and Gohan had lost a bunch of their ripped gear. So Trunks would find it on the ground, and he would assume that they had both died, Goten and Gohan, and he would then achieve Super Saiyan. So yes, Trunks still achieved Super Saiyan. After that, Goten would carry Gohan all the way flying in the sky, trying to find some place safe where the androids couldn't catch him, and he would stumble upon the lookout. Yes, the lookout. Now, after he went into the lookout, he would leave Gohan there to rest while he would go in the hyperbolic time chamber to train. Trunks would then, be in Earth, and he would go back to Capsule Corp, and then after training, Goten and Gohan returned to Capsule Corp to get Trunks. Gohan and Trunks decide to go into the hyperbolic time chamber. Goten decides to head to the city to get revenge on the androids, as he's now way stronger, having trained for 6 months inside the hyperbolic time chamber. He fought against the androids, but Cell had been absorbing multiple people in different cities, and he now had come for Android 17 and 18. Goten was fighting against both of them, however, one of them disappeared. Goten was able to destroy Android 18, killing her, but 17, who was the stronger one, got absorbed by Cell. We saw a green flashing light, and that is where we ended off last time's what ifs. So, let's get into the second part then, shall we? Goten and Cell were in a raging battle, as Goten had been slapped by Cell's tail. He was shocked. How could a being be this powerful? Imperfect Cell was just destroying Goten. He was furious, beating Goten into the wall. Goten didn't even know someone could be this powerful. Now, Cell was furious. How dare you? My perfection! It shall never be achieved, and it's all your fault. He would then grab Goten by the neck, saying, "I'll absorb you." However, Goten would scream, going to his full power, bursting out of Cell's grasp. He would kick Cell in the face and fire multiple energy blasts, following up with a Masenko. Yes, Goten had the Masenko, simply just because I feel if Gohan taught it to Trunks, then he would probably teach it to Goten as well. Now, Goten and Cell's battle would continue, but Goten was getting fucked. He was losing really, really badly. And he decided, I need to run. So Goten would then fly into the sea. There was water, and Cell was way faster than him. He was giving chase, and he was slowly gaining on Goten. Goten didn't know what to do, but he saw a bunch of islands, so he decided to try and hide in one of them. Cell caught up to him and started blowing up multiple of the islands. On the final one, Goten flew towards Cell, screaming, "Solar Flare!" and he would blind Cell. Cell screamed, covering his eyes. Now, Gohan, I believe, saw multiple people use the solar flare, so I feel like he would have probably picked up a bunch of the different techniques from different people. Now, I think that this would include the Destructo Disc, along with the solar flare and the Kikoho, but I just think Gohan would never really use them. But he taught them to Goten and Trunks just in case they would ever need them. I just think that this is a cool addition, and I think that it makes sense for Goten to use the solar flare. While Cell was blinded, Goten would fly back to the lookout. He was heavily damaged, and he knew his brother would be angry. He arrived on the lookout, and Mr. Popo was shocked. "Why did you take off like that, Goten?" Goten would look down. "I killed one of the androids, but there's an even bigger threat now." Mr. Popo looked at Goten. "They'll be out in a few hours. Take some rest and then you can explain the situation to them." Goten would then take some rest, sleeping on the lookout, taking multiple sensu beans. Meanwhile, Gohan and Trunks were in the hyperbolic time chamber, and they had been training vigorously. So, what power boosts did they get? They were both now stronger than Goten. Even though Goten did have 6 months inside, they had way more. They had a whole entire year. Now, Gohan had achieved grade 2, as had Trunks. He had achieved grade 2, ascended Super Saiyan. He had ascended to another level of more bulky form of Super Saiyan. However, Gohan had actually also achieved grade 3 of Super Saiyan. Yes, grade 3. I feel that this is a form that Gohan would be able to push himself to get, and he had had Super Saiyan for quite a while. So, yeah, I think he would be able to achieve this form. I think that makes sense. Gohan would come out with Trunks, and he would see his brother on the ground, damaged. What had happened? He was confused. Then he thought to himself, no, Goten wouldn't. He didn't go and fight the androids, did he? No. No. After that, Goten got woken up and he told his situation to Trunks and Gohan. Gohan was infuriated. How dare his brother do this? After they had seen what had happened, after they had fought against the androids and barely escaped with their lives, he was playing with fire. Gohan was enraged. As he was about to power up into a flash of Super Saiyan, when Goten told him to stop before Cell would sense his energy and come here. Gohan asked where Cell was, and Goten told him that he shouldn't go fight him, that Cell was way stronger than him. However, Goten, his words didn't do anything. Trunks looked at the two brothers, and Gohan looked at Goten, and he flew off out of the lookout. Trunks decided to stay with Goten, and the two talked for quite a while just about the androids and how Goten had killed Android 18, and now Imperfect Cell was like nothing they'd ever seen before. Goten gets angry, saying, "I want to go in the hyperbolic time chamber, Trunks." Trunks would look at him and say, "I'll go with you, but first, there's something I need to do." Now, Trunks is actually a year older than Goten at this point. So, Goten told him, "Okay, while you go do that, come in 6 hours. I'm going to train in the hyperbolic time chamber so for 6 hours, and then you go." Trunks then headed back to Bulma, and he told her, "Bulma, I've got some shit to do." So for 6 hours, he asked her about Dr. Gero and Cell, and he asked if he had a lab. Yes, Goten and Trunks are going to go to the lab, but mainly Trunks is learning about it. Bulma was shocked to see her baby boy all grown up, and Trunks asked for her to do something. He asked, did she have any of Vegeta's old clothes? Yes. Trunks then put on, even if she didn't have Vegeta's old clothes, she could easily make them, but I think this is just really cool. I think Trunks can connect to his father this way. He was now wearing his father's clothes. Yes, like in the original, where Goku, Gohan and Trunks, all day they all wore it. Trunks was now wearing it, and he flew back up to the lookout after Bulma started doing a bunch of research on Dr. Gero's lab. It had now been roughly probably 6 to 5 hours, and Goten had been training for 6 months in the hyperbolic time chamber, so he had gotten the full year and the Zenkai boost from fighting Cell and Android 18. After this, Goten and Trunks trained in the hyperbolic time chamber. Trunks was wearing Vegeta's clothes, and Goten was actually wearing of clothes that I talked about in the part 1. He was wearing clothes very similar to what Trunks had been wearing in the original, with an orange jacket, a power pole he had gotten from underneath the lookout, and he had the same sort of, trousers as Trunks. Trunks and Goten would train many hours until they got another 6 hours of training in. Now, the two were a lot stronger. Were they as strong as Gohan yet? No. They were super close. They were basically on par with Gohan. The only thing they didn't have yet was grade 3 Super Saiyan, which they were so close to getting. And Trunks and Goten had actually gone in and out of that form. They were just so inexperienced. They'd been trying to achieve a stronger version of Super Saiyan. They knew they could find a better version of grade 3. Meanwhile, Gohan had headed back to Chi-Chi's house to, Mount Paozu, and he had been preparing himself. He was going to go destroy Cell. He then powers up right outside of Mount Paozu. Chi-Chi said, "Son, what's wrong?" "Mom, I'll be back in a day." He then flew off, charging towards Cell. He was in Super Saiyan, and he was powered up to full power. Gohan was ready to fight Imperfect Cell. Meanwhile, Goten and Trunks had just come out of the hyperbolic time chamber. Trunks told him that they should go to Bulma's house in Capsule Corp so that they could go to Dr. Gero's lab. Yes, Dr. Gero's lab. They were going to go and visit it. They decided, okay, we'll go there since Bulma knows where it is, and Bulma knew in the original, so I'm going to just assume that she knows where the doctor's labs are. After this, they would head to the lab, and they would find, the place where Cell had come from the future, but they would find a new Cell, an older sort of Cell, and they decided, you know what? We're gonna kill it. Nah, I'm sorry, guys. I'm not gonna do a what if Cell turned good, like a mini version of it, no. Goten and Trunks would see it, and Goten, infuriated, would power up to Super Saiyan. He would then obliterate Cell's pod. So his, the green tube with the mini version of him, he would obliterate it. He did not want to see none of that. He did not want to risk the chance of there being a second Cell or whatever was going to happen. After the pod was obliterated, he chuckled, saying, "Stupid bug man, will crush you." I don't know how there is a second one though. But anyways, Trunks, however, would then go through looking at Android 16. Yes, who was Android 16? He would also find schematics for Android 18, Android 17, and Android 19, and Android 16. Through rummaging, they would find a pod for Android 16. Trunks was inclined to destroy it, but what if they could actually use him? They decided to take the pod back to Capsule Corp and have Bulma examine it. Meanwhile, Gohan had run into Cell. They were above multiple islands and the fight was about to begin. Bulma had just taken Android 16's pod and she began examining it, and she said, "If you give me a few days, maybe even a couple of weeks, I can turn him good. I can remove all the evil, kill Goku, kill Son Goku, all of that, and we can remove it all from him." Goten and Trunks were very happy to hear this. He didn't have to be evil, and he could actually help them. He might actually even be powerful. They decided to sit down, and then they sensed Ki. Two massive energies battling out. Yes, let's go to this fight. Imperfect Cell versus Grade 2 Super Saiyan Gohan. Now, they were about equal strength. However, it was clear Cell kind of had an advantage. Why? Because Cell is a lot stronger in this part of the story. I'll explain why. Now, in the original, Cell absorbed quite a few people. In this version, he has been absorbing, a lot of people. I'm going to just say this now. Cell has absorbed quite a few people, which makes him a lot stronger than in the original anime. So Gohan and Imperfect Cell were fighting, and Imperfect Cell said, "Could you ever sense it? The fact you had to become perfect. Your one goal was to become the perfect being, and it was stripped away from you by a mere child, by your brother." He then sent a punch to Gohan's face. Gohan went flying back. He then said, I don't care about you. To me, all you are is a monster that has to be dealt with. He then began to scream, and this was a very similar scene to Trunks powering up. Gohan powered up to the final stage of Super Saiyan. Yes, the extremely bulky form. He had achieved it. Grade 3 of Super Saiyan. He went into it. He then laughed, saying, "What do you like now, Cell?" Cell said, "Impressive. Your power is exceeding the old one you had. But do you really think a form like this could defeat me?" Gohan smirked and he began to fight against Cell. However, just like in the original, this form is not good. Because he then began to dodge, and Gohan said, "Why am I so slow?" He said, "Look at you, Gohan. Look how much muscle you have. You have a stupid amount of muscle. You can barely even hit me. You don't stand a chance against me." Gohan was pissed. "This form, I'll find an even stronger version," which is obviously Perfect Super Saiyan, but he doesn't know about that. "I'll find it. I'll ascend beyond and I'll kill you, Cell." Cell laughed, saying, "You shall die." He fired a death beam that pierced Gohan's shoulder. Then a tail went and stabbed Gohan in the chest. Gohan's energy began to get sucked. Cell's power began to increase phenomenally. He was actually starting to reach the same amount of power that Imperfect Cell had in the original. Just then, Goten and Trunks flew next to Gohan, punching Cell out the way. They both powered up to grade 2 Super Saiyan. They didn't even feel like powering up to grade 3. There was no point. They had seen what had happened when Gohan had used it. Gohan saw his brother and he said, "Goten." He then said, "Hands off my brother and my master," which is what Trunks said. The two then rushed Cell and they began to beat him up. However, Cell quickly regained himself, kicking Trunks out the way and punching Goten in the chest. Goten vomited blood. He said to Gohan, "Gohan, we gotta get out of here." Gohan said, "No, we gotta get you out of here, Gohan, or he'll kill you." Gohan said, "But, I'm sorry I have to be such a liability." Trunks then fired a Buster Flash. Cell turned around, being obliterated by the blast. However, he regenerated, saying, "Thank you, my power is increasing." Trunks told Goten, "Take this opportunity. He's just regenerating now. You can take your brother and leave." Goten took Gohan and flew away, saying, "Thank you, Trunks." Trunks looked at Cell, saying, I thought the androids were dead, but all they did was bring an even greater monster, you." Cell looked at Trunks. "You know, I have DNA of your father." Trunks looked at him. "Your father would not be proud of you wearing those clothes." Trunks screamed, erupting into a fury. Ki grew everywhere. He screamed, "How dare you!" He powered up to grade 3 Super Saiyan. He was pissed. "How dare you insult me and say such words about my father? I will kill you." He flew towards Cell, and Cell laughed, saying, "Just what I wanted." He wrapped his tail around Trunks' leg. Trunks punched a rocketing punch into Cell's face. Cell said, "Ugh, you're pretty powerful. However, there's one thing you didn't notice. I wrapped my tail around your leg." He stabbed his tail into Trunks' leg. Trunks screamed, "Ah, my energy! I can feel it being drained." He said, "Yes, my power is growing." Now, I'm going to tell you this. He was almost at the same power as Perfect Cell. That's how much energy Cell had absorbed at this point. Cell laughed, saying, "How do you like this, Trunks?" However, Trunks mustered enough energy to kick Cell. He was released from Cell's tail. He depowered down to normal base Super Saiyan and flew away. Cell gave chase. However, he fired multiple energy blasts, telling him, "Leave me alone. I'll fight you another day, Cell." Cell said, "Actually, that gives me an idea. What about some tournament?" Trunks was a bit surprised. "What, a tournament?" He said, "Yes, the Cell Games. You have 10 days to prepare. There, all 3 of you Saiyans shall fight me." There's not any way you all could get that much stronger until then. I give you actually 3 days, a good 3 days, and then we shall meet. And Trunks was a bit surprised. How will we know where to meet? You'll sense my energy. I might even broadcast it on the news. I shall destroy this stupid planet once I murder all 3 of you Saiyans. Trunks looked at Cell. We'll be there. And he flew away. And that's where we're going to end part 2. In the next part, we'll get the Cell games. Yes, we'll get the Cell games. I think this part was pretty good. We got to see a lot of new things with more Gohan, more Trunks. We've seen Cell integrated into the story. In the next part, we'll get the Cell games. And all I've got to say is if you did enjoy, make sure you leave a like and comment down below. While you're there, subscribe. And I'll see you all laters.